Good morning, church. Is Jesus correct when he tells us that the Spirit of God continues to make the world a better place? Let me read the two parables that Jesus gives us in today's Gospel. They are from Mark chapter 4, verses 26 to 34. Jesus said to the crowds, "This is how it is with the kingdom of God. It is as if a man were to scatter seed on the land and would sleep and rise night and day, and through it all the seeds would sprout and grow, he knows not how. Of its own accord the land yields fruit, first the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. And when the grain is ripe, he wields the sickle at once, for the harvest has come." Then he said, "To what shall we compare the kingdom of God? Or what parable can we use for it? It is like a mustard seed, that when it is sown in the ground, it is the smallest of all the seeds on the earth. But once it is sown, it springs up and becomes the largest of plants and puts forth large branches, so that the birds of the sky can dwell in its shade." With many such parables, he spoke the word to them as they were able to understand it. Without parables, he did not speak to them, but to his own disciples, he explained everything in private. When I look at the world today, I do not know if I should be encouraged or discouraged. I see a pandemic that has not yet released its hold on us, and I do not know when the end will be in sight. I see lots of American bishops attacking President Biden, saying that he shouldn't be allowed to take communion, while other bishops say he is most welcome. I see President Biden having friendly, productive meetings with the leaders of the G7, while today the Israeli government ousts Netanyahu. And I compare it to the disastrous last meeting when our past president had a confrontational reception with the European leaders and a very friendly get-together with Prime Minister Netanyahu. Maybe there's ground for hope as the world does a seismic shift. But I've seen shifts before that did not lead to truth nor justice. However, in this scenario, Jesus comes with his gospel for today, giving his parables of the seed of the earth sprouting fruit, and the mustard seed becoming the resultant large bush where the birds of the air can feed and live in its branches. I'm reminded with a smile of my teenage sister and her girlfriends taking over our family kitchen for the purpose of baking a cake. When it was way past time for the cake to appear, my mother went into the kitchen to see what was the holdup. She was told that they had put the cake in the oven, but it would not rise. My mother checked their ingredients and found that they had forgotten to put yeast in the mix. I realized that it is easy to overlook the yeast these days, since it comes in a small packet. Unlike the time of Jesus, when most families cultivated it, and it gave a distinctive aroma to the whole house. It was smelly but functional. However, Jesus pointing to the Spirit of God at work in his world reminds me of a little girl in our school for whom I had a Mass every Friday. I told the children about the poor children in the third world countries who did not have much to eat. On the way out of church after Mass, all the children shook my hand. But this little girl put something into my hand as we exchanged handshakes. I thought it was a note, and I didn't look at it immediately until all the children had departed. Then I discovered that the note was actually $2 bills. We had a meal for the children each Friday, and I realized that she was going to go hungry that day in solidarity with the poor children in the third world. So perhaps Jesus is correct. We need to have confidence that the Spirit of God will continue to imbue his people with his Spirit and continue to make our world a home of truth and justice. All we need to do is continue to be the yeast that God needs. God bless you.